Hey everyone, Mel here. We'll see if get some folks to join. Hey everyone, I see folks joining. Hi everyone. Hey everyone. Hi everyone. Mel here, one of the co-founders and CEO of Canada Learning Co. Just waiting for all of you to tune back in as we'll pick back up and interview some incredible women in technology. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you all soon, but we'll just hang tight for a couple of minutes as we have everyone join in, and we'll get started shortly. All right. Hey everyone who's joining. Hey Yvonne. All right. All right, I'll start to formally kick us off. So if you're just tuning in, I'm Melissa Serfodin, one of the co-founders and CEO of Canada Learning Code. We teach people across the country technical skills and really trying to empower and equip and inspire people to build and not just consume technology. And I'm really excited to be moderating conversations with two really incredible women in technology over the next half an hour or so, and excited to explore how they made their way into technology, some of their role models, and really practical tips for all of you tuning in. So our first guest is Yvonne. I'm going to connect her now and really look forward to chatting with her and with all of you. So stay tuned. All right, so Yvonne's joining. Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Nice to see you again.
This is so weird. I'm usually either interviewing you or so the roles reversed today.
That's true. That did happen. Yeah, that did happen once. No, it's great to be connecting with you and chatting, and it's great to see you as well. I think we've got a good connection. I can hear you. You can hear me. I think we're right on time also. So are you good to dive in?
I'm good. Like I said, this is, believe it or not, as much as I use social media, this is probably one of my very first or maybe second Instagram lives. So I've got my setup here. So I'm hoping my phone doesn't clip out of the clip. So if you see me disappear, that's what happens.
Okay. All right. We'll welcome you back if that does. But really excited to be chatting with you. So for those tuning in, again, I'm Mel Sariffodeen, one of the co-founders and CEO of Canada Learning Code. We teach people across the country technical skills, and I have the pleasure of interviewing two incredible women in tech, Yvonne being one of them, for the next 15 minutes or so, and would just love to just dive right in. So if you can just start, by introducing yourself, where you went to school, and your current job, we'll start there for everyone tuning in.
So thank you again, Melissa, and a big thank you to Katie and Chloe, who put so much work into this Instagram live. So thank you. Again, my name is Yvonne Pilon. My title is President and CEO of WETech Alliance, although as any leader knows, you're literally the thing of everything. So whatever needs to get done is what I do. In terms of my career path, so I grew up in a really, really, really small town, probably less than 1,000 people. My grade school had a graduating grade 8 class of probably 11 people.
Wow.
I was fluent French throughout grade school, high school, went to Le Soir Secondary School, and then finished my way, got my bachelor's degree at the University of Windsor in business. So interesting to see I moved into tech, but as you know, tech has lots of business in it. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that really pairs well for the next question, but what inspired you to go into tech? Was it anyone? Was it a particular thing? I'd love for you to share more about that.
Yeah, so throughout this conversation, I'll go back to, I'm 36. So when I was in grade school, high school, tech was there, but it was so new, right? We've really seen, I think we're in an interesting time of unless I think we're roughly probably in the same age bracket. I'm not going to assume your age, but we didn't grow up with technology. We started getting, internet connectivity and getting those AOL CDs to get internet. So I was introduced to technology here and there, but what really led me to where I am today is actually an entrepreneurship class that I took in university. So somehow it fit my schedule. I took it, I fell in love with it, which is weird because my parents are both entrepreneurs. So but anyways, that led me to basically develop a business idea for a class project, which led me into my first tech startup. So I've always said to, younger women, whether you're grade school, high school, is we're always looking for that perfect linear path to our career, right? And today's world, things are changing literally by the minute. So my path is literally like so crazy. And I think that's okay. And I think the more we see that and we educate our young people to know that it's not always going to be linear. There are career paths that are more linear, but in business and tech, you don't need to go into tech to actually have a career in tech.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think that's really, really important to highlight. Because I would say for myself as well, like quite a roller coaster. If you were to, explain it, it's like, well, how did you end up there? But that's I think the beauty of tech and, what's so incredible about it. I'd love to just know more, and you maybe talked a bit about it, but like, what is it about tech that you love so much, day to day and in general?
Sure. So just a quick side. I want to be a marine biologist when I was young. So you talk about literally a transition. But what I love about technology, I love constant learning. And as we've seen, even over this pandemic, tech is always changing. So the industry, to me, is always keeping me learning. I'm always asking myself new questions, right? What is the world going to look like post-COVID, right? We're leveraging technology now to work, to learn. So for me, technology provides you with a constant learning opportunity. And really, when you think about some of the biggest problems the world is facing, technology has such an opportunity to solve those problems. So for me, the ability to be in an industry that's literally helping people, 3D print heart valves or solving, climate crises. So again, constant learning and again, the ability to really change the world are two of the biggest reasons why I love being in the tech sector.
That's awesome. I would agree. Also, what could you share with us then maybe an experience or example or I call it in our organization magic moment about something that you experienced in your career so far. So your favorite experience.
Oh, favorite experience in my career so far.
Or one of them.
There's so many, honestly. I think in terms of leading up to my career, I think I was never a scholar in education. So for me, one of my biggest moments, I remember it was not necessarily, it was pre-career, but I remember being in a third-year marketing class in my business program. And I, for some reason, got over my public speaking bubble, like that fear. And I just remember being in class and being, why am I so terrified? That moment stuck with me. I don't know what happened, but I think, again, it's practice makes to a point of confidence. In my actual career right now, I think one of my biggest revelations or moments was the ability to mobilize people. I think as we constantly say, you have the ability to change, but I truly believe when you build and mobilize people, that's where the true change comes. So I was one of very few people that stayed in Windsor after graduation. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was make our city, I wanted young people to love our city and to really have the civic pride. So through a bunch of people coming together, we hosted this summit called Windsor 180, which brought together almost 200 young people to talk about revision, like doing a Windsor 180, literally like re-envisioning the city. How do we build civic pride? How do we get younger people's voice to the table? And for me, it's not specific to tech, but to me, it's a big part about future cities is getting that youth voice. And to me, that was a really proud moment.
Yeah, that's amazing. So awesome to hear. And I think it just really highlights the fact that, if you are interested in tech or, community building or whatever it might be, like there is a way to meld those things together and to do that wherever you are, right? So if people are tuning in across Canada, or even be in the world, I mean, tech can follow you anywhere and it can create like such a good foundation.
For sure. And again, I'm still in a small town that would not necessarily traditionally be considered a tech hub. But that's the best part is the ability to have that change and to be, a catalyst in that. So for anyone that's listening, that's from a small town, don't let that be a prohibitor to do great things in tech.
Yeah, I love that. And so inspiring. Someone commented that, so I would agree. Just want to remind everyone too, connecting with Yvonne Pilon and Amazing Women in Tech. If people have questions for you, I think we'll have
someone's chiming in from Mexico.
Oh yeah, we'll have some time. We'll have some time, hopefully at the end, to take questions from anyone who's tuning in. So I encourage people to put questions in. I'm following that as we're chatting. I wanted to, pivot the questions a little bit, just to advice for, people who are looking to get into tech or who are looking to, gain knowledge in tech. Like, what were some of the resources that you used, maybe outside of classroom experiences to, build your knowledge in tech, and what would you recommend for those tuning in?
So going back to what I said earlier about tech, what I grew up in. So this is my badge sash from when you look at this sash, it's very much like cooking, cleaning, and I think about how much things are changed because now we have badges that have STEM and coding. Yeah. So again, I go back to the world I lived in. We didn't have the resources that exist today. I have some of my old tech here. Like, this is what a camera used to look like. And my iPod and my BlackBerry. Yep. So for me, it was very difficult when I look back to say there weren't that many opportunities. First Robotic, which is a program I'm a huge advocate for. It started in my high school, but it was so small. And I really think things have changed, right? Tech is so cool. So for me, I said yes to a lot of opportunities. I think that's one of the biggest things I did. I love classroom learning is important, but experiential learning is important. Get into industry, get into companies, see what it is. Don't just read about it. Actually see if you can get in and experience it, because a lot of the times you don't know until you actually try it. And then when I think about women who are watching, there are so many great organizations to get you into coding. Melissa, your organization is transforming Canada. Digital literacy, you're helping with that. Groups like See It, Be It, STEM It, right? Or locally, Build a Dream. Build a Dream is an initiative that has just recently gone across Canada. It is literally about empowering women into skilled trades, entrepreneurship, STEM. So there's lots of opportunities. And let's be honest, we have Google. And Google allows you to literally find everything within seconds. And usually you're going to have a million plus search results. So lots of opportunities and resources out there.
Yeah, that's a great advice. And I think that the Google one is one that you can't underscore enough, right? Like, you can find so much, and that is very different than when we were in this space. Go ahead.
However, one thing I will say to all the women out there, when you Google tech CEO, there's a good chance you're going to see a lot of men. And that is something that I'm so mindful of. So that is why these conversations, getting more women into STEM is so important, because as we always say, technology is built for everyone. We all use it, but why isn't it being designed, developed by everyone? So we're using it, but not everyone's designing it. So that's why we need to get a diverse, and it's not just females, it's diversity on all levels. So.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and why CFP at Summit is so important, and as a resource that's curated and features so many amazing women. So I agree, and I think there's initiatives out there that are really focused on that, and I appreciate them so much, for sure.
I love all the comments. It's so fun. There's like
girl power.
I'm so inspired. Believe it or not, I'm leaving for vacation literally the hour after this call, so I'm going to be leaving so inspired.
Well, we're inspired by you for sure. So thank you for that too. Another question I have, and then we'll see if there's some questions from those tuning in, but how in your career did you go about finding mentors? Or maybe if you can just speak to the, role of mentors in your career and your life, importance, and then some practical tips for those tuning in.
Sure. So mentorship, again, is so critical for me. A lot of people think, yes, I mentor a lot of people, but I'm still I'm still mentored, and hopefully I'm always I'm being mentored by someone. So I think the biggest thing when it comes to finding a mentor is really understanding that there are two different sides of mentorship. I always say there's the mentors and there's the sponsors, right? So when you think about mentorship and you're trying to find a mentor, be mindful that people are busy, right? Be mindful of what your goal is. So really get in this, what are you looking to get, right? So write out your short-term goals, long-term goals, and understand that a mentor is not there to do the work for you, right? It's always like, I want to find a mentor to find a job. You have to be able to get that job and action on it, right? That person's there just to help guide you, right? So I think there's this misunderstanding that by reaching out to a mentor, you're expecting them to do the work for you. So when you're looking to get a mentor, again, put together your goals, short-term and long-term. Look on LinkedIn, see who do you admire, do research, right? And again, the more clear you are, because when I get requests to be a mentor, it's a lot of the times it's very broad, right? So the more you can hone in on what exactly you're looking for, I think the more the mentor can help the mentee better kind of address their concern or their question.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's really great advice. And, something I also have noticed, and I'm curious to your perspective, but I find that also like maybe peers and people you don't expect to be mentors can also be really valuable in that. So, just recognizing you can have conversations and you can learn from like everybody, younger, older, or even the same age.
So Melissa, an interesting part about you and I mean, we don't like, how we met was so much through connections, right? And networks. And I think, I follow you. You're one of my role models, and I have your calendar, and I just like, but
I'm blushing now.
One of the biggest success factors I feel like in terms of my career path has been leveraging social media. Ironically, social media has a lot of negativity, but I have built such an amazing roster of mentors through social media. I think about the people I've met, and Claudette McGowan's a great example of someone who is just a beyond role model for myself. And all of this happened online, and it's so amazing when you just step out, right? A lot of times I'll reach out, I'll connect with them on social media, and a relationship started, and you'd be surprised how many people are willing to help. I think we're terrified. We're like, oh, I don't want to reach out. They are busy, but again, take the chance, risk, it's uncomfortable, but again, I can tell you, I have had so many awesome relationships start by literally a DM or a Twitter follow. It's been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, just like ask, and reach out. I think that's great. I'm looking for if there's any other questions from people. I think we have another minute or so, but just to end, if there is any other advice that you might have for a young girl considering a career in STEM. You've given some really great actionable tips already, but is there anything else that you want to leave us all with?
I think because we're on a social media platform, social media has created this thing of comparing. We're always comparing ourselves to other people. And I think when it comes to going into STEM, no matter what sector you go into, compare yourself only to yourself. So compare yourself how you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. Don't go about comparing yourself to other people. And the other piece of it, Melissa, and I know you are representing coding, but being a woman in tech doesn't restrict you to just being a coder. Sure. I'm not a coder. I do know a little bit of it. Thanks to Melissa, believe it or not, to my CSS. But again, you can get into marketing, data. There's just so many sides of the technology community. So don't just assume that if you're a woman in tech that you need to be a coder. There are so many more opportunities. And again, it's literally more opportunities are being added every day because technology is changing that fast.
Yeah, completely. Thank you so much. It has been so great to connect with you. I feel like we could talk.
So great to see you. I hope to see you in person real soon. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And to Katie and Chloe, I just want to make sure I got their names right. Thank you for putting this on.
Thank you so much. Have a great vacation. Thanks so much for chatting. Talk to you again soon. Yeah. Bye. All right. That was incredible. So inspired. I see lots of really great comments coming in. Yvonne, thank you again so much. We're just going to wait a couple of moments for our next guest to join. I'm really also excited to connect with Atena and learn a bit more about her experience in tech as well. So just give us a moment to get her on board, and we will continue connecting with more incredible women in technology. And also, we will have a chance, hopefully, for questions. So if you're waiting for us to join, thinking about those questions that you might have. All right, okay, I think she's here. So let's invite her in. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you in real life. How are you?
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to learn more and talk and yeah, share your experiences. You can hear us okay? We see you okay? Just want us to take a minute just to make sure that everything's good. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's dive in because there's lots of, questions and, a lot that we want to hear from. And I'd love for you to, start and jump off by sharing, a little bit about you, your name, school you went to, what your current job is, sharing with everybody who's tuning in, a little bit more about you.
Yeah, for sure. Can you, okay? Can you hear me? Okay?
Yes, yeah. Just maybe if you're going to say a couple more words. It was a little bit choppy for a minute there.
Okay, how about now? Is it
Okay, perfect. Yeah, seems good. We're good.
Really, I know we're talking technology and women and all that, but it's my first Instagram live, so if there are any interruptions, then let me know if you can't hear me properly. Okay, yeah, my name is Atena. I'm my title right now and my job is a manager in technology. I work at PwC Consulting, and I can tell you more about what I'm on. But really, the journey that brought me to this point was I'm here, but I'm originally from Iran. I did undergrad there back home in chemical engineering, and then I did master's in biomedical engineering at UC in Toronto, and since then I've been living here. Startup, medical devices. I've done research in medical imaging, and then all that led to be a technology consultant where I work with organizations and how they actually use all this great technology to be better, whatever that.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to check, you cut out a couple of times for me. I just want to make sure that we have an okay connection. As I'm looking for mission control, can you just say just a couple more words? I just want to make sure that we can all hear you okay, so you have an opportunity to share and we all hear you.
Actually use my AirPods.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll give it a moment. Oh, looks like we might have a not super strong connection. Okay, all right.
Okay, how about now? Is it better now?
Yeah, that's very clear. Thank you. That's awesome.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Okay, there's always some tech. You can't do any sort of tech-enabled thing without some tech issue. It just keeps us on our toes. That's what I say. Just, reminds us that we're still here. So thank you again for everyone tuning in. We're talking with amazing women in tech, Atena, and sharing your experiences. You shared a little bit about your background and how you got here, but would you be able just to share a little bit more about, whether there was anything or anyone really specifically that inspired you to get into STEM?
Yeah, so back in the day when I was going to elementary school, high school, and undergrad, there was no such a word as like STEM as we know it right now. But the world of math and physics and engineering always fascinated me because I knew deep in me that if I want to be successful in almost any field, I need to know math, I need to know physics, I need to know science, because that's how everything works. That's how you and I are connected to each other through internet and all these devices. That's how our body works. So really, I was always amazed by the world of science and technology. And I was lucky enough to have been surrounded by people who were educating in that field and were working in these fields. And since I was a kid, be it my parents or relatives and friends, so I was sort of always exposed to these fields. And in terms of what led me to do engineering was basically the curiosity, and I wanted to also be part of that world myself.
Awesome. That's great. And it's great to hear that you had so many, role models, and yeah, that exposure. Cause I think for so many people, we don't, right? I mean, I know certainly my experience, like that was, not on the radar at all, it was doctor, lawyer, maybe teacher, like that was it. So it's interesting how that impacted, or could have impacted you. And I'd love to dive into that, right now. So, how did you think about, in addition to that, about finding mentors throughout your career?
Yeah, so really finding a mentor and being a mentor is something that's really close to my heart. And I think it's something that's really important for everybody to think about always. And for me, when I want to find a mentor, it's not that it's always on top of mind for me. And so I try to always observe people, how they work, how they interact with others, how they, if you're at school, how they study, how they teach, and if there's something in somebody that you really think, I can really learn from this person, and I'm really fascinated by how they do stuff, simply I reach out to them and ask for coffee chats or even like emailing or now in the virtual world that we live in, virtual chats, so that we can really understand and learn from each other, and don't be scared to reach out to people at all would be my advice, because there's nothing you can lose. You just reach out. People are busy, we know that. If they're eager to be a mentor and to talk to you, better. If not, that's okay, we move on, right? So it's always around trying to find people that you can learn from, build relationships, and just continue to build those trusted relationships with everybody around you, so that you can grow both professionally and personally.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, Yvonne just before mentioned something similar. So I feel like go for it. Like, it sounds like overwhelmingly just reach out if you're looking for a mentor, to someone you can learn from. I love that consistency there. And I would add to that too. So just for everyone tuning in, don't be afraid to do that. What does your day in the life look like? What does your job look like at work? I mean, maybe pre-COVID and now, but in general, what is it that you do every day?
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on pre-COVID and now, because it's very different. So what I basically do is I work with different organizations, be it, for example, a school board or a hospital or federal government or all other organizations in how they can use technology. And for example, if I want to give you an example, I worked with one of the school boards here in Canada in terms of how they can think about future of education. What's the role of a teacher in a new classroom, students, what sort of devices they need to be equipped with, and things like that, or how a hospital can move from a very paper-based manual process environment to a digital. Do all of these, you really need to be at client side, working with them, interacting with them, really understanding things with.
Oh, I think, are we cutting out a little bit? Is that me? Or Tina? Just give it a... I lost you. Oh, I think we may have lost her. Okay, so we'll give it a second to jump back on. Give it Tina. Always technology. All right, there we go. We'll get you back on. All right, we got you back.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Everything just all of a sudden froze.
Yeah, internet.
Yeah.
Internet. My apologies on my end, but yeah, please, as you were sharing.
All good. Yeah, I don't know how much of that you could hear, but basically day in the life we were talking. So normally it would be at client side, i.e. the organization that I'm working with, like the hospital or the school board or whatever. But these days I'm doing all of that still, but remote. So as you can see, this is my home. I'm right now sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop. So once this is done, I'll get back to work. But basically, day in the life, obviously as someone else, like checking emails, seeing if there's anything urgent that we need to tackle. Otherwise, go about your day. Be it analyzing the data that we need in order to understand things better, or do brainstorming sessions with my team and the organizations that I work with to really understand what's going on and how we can plan on the future and how we can implement things to make things more efficient, and all that. So it's always a fast-paced environment because we're in technology. Everything changes every day, every week, every month, especially during this time of COVID. So it's important to be able to proactively just get all the information in, make the right decisions with your teams, and do the job. So it's I would say it's definitely different pre-COVID versus these times, but yeah, getting there.
Yeah, yeah, it's more and more normal. What coming out of school, I guess, and and some of the work that you've done, like how did your expectation of what you would do, with your background, your degree differ or similar to what the reality of some of the roles you've had are?
Yeah, so I would say when I was doing even after my master's degree, when I was working at the startup on medical devices, I had no idea what technology consulting is really. I knew what I want to do as an engineer, building products that of good use for people, but I had no idea that I can be a technology consultant, and this is what I got exposure to this sort of work by meeting people, by going to information sessions at school and during my graduate studies, and really understood, okay, there are a whole lot of other things that I can do, which all of these things need a background in STEM as an asset, but actually you can have any sort of background and be in technology, be a technology consultant, and help everyone adopt to those technologies that are out there. And so really for me, it was a journey. I didn't know from day one that I want to be a technology consultant. And the thing I love about it is the diversity of problems we get to solve, diversity of the organizations I get to work with, diversity of people I encounter every day and ultimately learn from.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. And I think it just, again, like highlights the fact that, having that foundation in, in STEM and in tech is so valuable, but you don't really know where it can even take you. And there's so many things you probably didn't know, or we don't know when we're like in it, but that, can, present themselves after. Right. So I think that's like really, great perspective. What has been one of your favorite experiences in your career so far?
Yeah, my favorite experiences have been actually recently working with people who are fresh out of school and just being a sponge, observing what they have to say and working together to brainstorm to solve our client problems and really think about the future, be it future of work, future of whatever that we're thinking about. And I think for me, that aspect of being able to work with younger generations, it's great, because I think the field that we are in, we need younger people. We need people with fresh set of eyes, with fresh minds, and to be able to really make sure that the ideas are fresh and innovative, so it's always great to see new talent coming into the company, and that I get to work with, and pleasure to work with.
That's awesome. I love that as well. We are almost at time, so I have one last question for you, and it's been so great to connect. But as we end, what's a piece of advice that you would leave for a young, girl or female-identified person considering a career in STEM?
Yeah, so I think advice I would give, and I think advice varies obviously person by person, but something that I always tell people is that just be confident in yourself and your capabilities. When you see the people you may call role model, or the people you look up to, know that all of them started from where you are, and they just dream big, just power through, and don't let anything or anybody stop you, because chances are along the way you hear so and so, but you just need to power through and be yourself, and let your personality and things that differentiate you be an asset for you, not really fitting into a box of okay, you need to do this in order to get to this. Journey is your journey, and just trust the journey.
I love that. That's great. And just keep going. Thank you so much. So inspiring. It was really great to connect with you and hear your perspectives. Thanks so much. And we'll chat again soon.
Thanks so much, Melissa.
Okay.
Sorry for the technical
Oh,
difficulties.
no problem. We got it. Keeps us on our toes. All right. Talk to you
Bye.
again later.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye. Awesome. Well, that was great. Thank you so much. That's the end for me and the portion in connecting with women in technology specifically. But I'm going to hand it over to our next moderator, Magana, who's going to speak to some incredible women in engineering. So we're not done yet. There's lots more insight and perspectives and lessons to learn. So that's it for me, though. Thanks so much for having me. See it, be it STEM it team. It was really great to connect with these women. And stay tuned. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, everyone.